All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be looking at GTPR, a cryptocurrency that's trying to make some waves, some big waves in the real estate market. I know what you're thinking. Another meme coin. But this one claims to have some utility. We're going to be looking at excerpts from this blog post called GTPR, the meme coin that builds homes. And yeah, you heard that right, build homes. We're going to be talking about fractional ownership, NFTs, and even, get this, a game called Goat Tapper.
It is a pretty fascinating idea. I mean, we've all seen how much hype there is around meme coins. A lot of times that hype is driven by speculation rather than, real world use cases. And that's where GTPR is trying to be different by connecting its value to real estate investments.
So how exactly does that work? What is GTPR and what is this whole Goat Tapper thing? It sounds a little too good to be true.
So GTPR stands for Goat Tapper Token. And it's the token behind the whole Goat Tapper ecosystem. Think of Goat Tapper as a gaming platform, but it lets you earn rewards and even invest in real estate. And GTPR is the token that makes all that possible.
So wait, are you telling me I can play a game and somehow end up owning part of a building?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but you're on the right track. The game is built around this tap-to-earn model. Basically, you earn points by doing different things in the game, completing missions, things like that. Then you use those points, along with some GTPR tokens, to bid on fractional ownership of real estate in these things called goat drop auctions.
Okay, hold on. I got to stop you right there. What exactly does fractional ownership mean? Are you saying I could own, like, a tiny piece of an apartment building?
That's exactly it. And those slices are represented by NFTs. They're like digital deeds. So let's say you win a bid in one of these goat drop auctions. You'd get an NFT that represents your share of that property. And if the property value goes up, the value of your NFT goes up too. And depending on what the property is, you might even get a cut of the rental income.
Whoa, okay, so it's not just about the token going up in value. You actually get a piece of a real-world asset. That's pretty cool. I can see why people would be into that, especially people who want to get into real estate, but maybe can't afford it yet. But where does GTPR fit into all of this? Is it just for the auctions?
Nope. You need GTPR for pretty much everything in the Goat Tapper ecosystem, like buying upgrades in the game, paying those auction entry fees. It's like the currency of this little virtual world.
Oh, God.
Which means there's always a demand for it, even if you're not interested in the real estate part.
Okay, so they've built this whole economy inside the game. That's pretty interesting. But we've seen meme coins go up and down like crazy. What's to stop GTPR from doing the same thing? What's backing up its value?
That's where their buyback and burn mechanism comes in, basically. They use some of the platform's revenue to buy back GTPR tokens, and then they destroy them, take them out of circulation for good.
Hold on, why would they do that?
Yeah.
What's the point of burning their own tokens?
It's all about controlling the supply. By reducing the number of tokens out there, they hope to create scarcity, which, in theory, should increase the value of the remaining tokens. It's like a way to fight inflation.
So they're applying like real-world economics to this crypto market. That's interesting. But let's get down to brass tacks here. What kind of properties are we talking about? Are these luxury penthouses or something a little more, down to earth?
The blog post didn't really get into specifics about the types of properties, but they did talk a lot about their goal of making real estate accessible to everyone. So it seems like they're focusing on properties that would appeal to a lot of different investors, maybe even smaller, more affordable units.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to scare people away with million-dollar condos.
Yeah.
But there are already a ton of real estate investing platforms out there.
Yeah.
What makes GTPR and this Goat Tapper thing different?
I think the key difference is the gaming aspect. They're trying to make investing fun, which could attract younger people, or people who might be intimidated by traditional investing. Plus, you have the community aspect. Meme coins are all about community, and GTPR is leveraging that to build a network of investors.
So it's like they're creating a whole culture around investing. You're not just buying a token, you're joining a community. I can see the appeal.
And they're not stopping there. They have plans to expand into other types of assets, too.
Wait, other assets? Like what? Give me an example.
Imagine using the same platform to invest in things like fine art, or rare collectibles, or even renewable energy projects. They're trying to create a diverse portfolio of options for the average investor.
Wow, okay, that's something I want to dig into a little deeper. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and remind ourselves what makes GTPR so different from all the other meme coins out there.
What sets it apart is that it's trying to go beyond just speculation and connect its value to something tangible, the real estate market. It's not just about hoping the token goes up in price. It's about owning a piece of something real. And they're actively trying to stabilize the token's value with things like that buyback and burn mechanism.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. But is it all hype? Or is there something really revolutionary happening here? What do you think?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, it's up to each person to decide. But what we can do is give you the information you need to make your own conclusions. But I
Yeah.
do think that this whole intersection of gaming, cryptocurrency, and real estate investing is worth exploring. It could be a glimpse into the future of investing.
You've definitely given us a lot to think about before we start talking about the potential risks and benefits of GTPR. I want to leave you with this question. Does this integration of gaming and cryptocurrency into real estate signal a future trend? Or is it just a passing fad? We'll be back soon to tackle that question and more.
So welcome back to our deep dive into GTPR. Before we went off on that tangent there, we were talking about how GTPR is trying to do something different by, bringing real estate investment to more people through a video game. Of all things, it does sound a little crazy, but is it really as good as it sounds? Let's take a closer look at some of the potential benefits and risks of stepping into this whole GTPR ecosystem.
All right, let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the advantages for investors who are intrigued by this whole GTPR concept?
Well, one of the biggest draws is accessibility. Traditionally, real estate investment has required a lot of capital, a lot of money up front, which has made it out of reach for a lot of people. But with this fractional ownership through NFTs, the barrier to entry is much lower. You can start building a real estate portfolio with a much smaller investment.
So you're saying someone who could never afford to buy, like a whole rental property,
Okay,
could
yeah.
potentially own a piece of one.
Through GTPR. Exactly. And it's not just about the lower initial investment. Another big plus is liquidity. The traditional real estate market is notoriously illiquid. It can take months, even years, to sell a property. But with these NFTs, you can potentially trade your fractional ownership on secondary markets much more easily.
That's a huge difference. So it's like
Yeah.
you're taking this asset that's normally really hard to buy and sell
Yeah.
and making it way more flexible.
Right. It gives people more control over their investments.
But of course, every investment comes with risks. What are some of the potential downsides of GTPR? What do investors need to watch out for?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No investment is without risk. And with something as new as this, there are definitely some things to consider. One major concern is volatility. Cryptocurrency markets are known for their price swings, and GTPR is no different. The value of your investment could go up and down dramatically, especially in the short term.
So this is not for the faint of heart. You got to be ready for a roller coaster ride. Are there other things that could affect the value of GTPR?
Definitely. Regulation is a big one. The crypto space is still relatively unregulated, and the rules around these tokenized assets are changing all the time. There's always a risk that governments could crack down on certain types of crypto investments, which could definitely impact GTPR's value.
It's like the Wild West out there. You never know what's going to happen next. What else? Are there any other red flags that investors should keep in mind?
Well, there's also the issue of platform dependence. The whole GTPR ecosystem is built around this one platform, GTPR. If something were to happen to the platform, like a security breach or technical problems, or even if the company went bankrupt, it could have a huge impact on the value of your GTPR tokens and the NFTs that are tied to them.
That's a good point. It really highlights how important it is to do your research on the team and the technology behind any platform before you invest. You're really putting a lot of trust in the people behind GTPR. You need to be confident that they can handle the challenges of this market. But let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What does the emergence of projects like GTPR tell us about the future of investing? Is this just a fad, or are we seeing the beginning of something much bigger?
I think it's a sign that the lines between traditional finance and the digital world are becoming more and more blurred. We're seeing so much experimentation with tokenization, fractional ownership, blockchain technology in general. And GTPR is just one example of that.
Yeah, it's like we're watching a whole new financial system being born. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's also a little scary. There's so much we don't know yet.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to approach these new opportunities cautiously and with a healthy dose of skepticism. Do your research, understand the risks, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. This is still a very new and volatile space.
Very wise words. But even with all the unknowns, there's a real sense of possibility here. What excites you the most about the potential of GTPR and projects like it?
What I find most compelling is the potential to democratize access to investment opportunities that were once completely out of reach for the average person. The idea that you could build a real estate portfolio, even a small one, by playing a game and participating in this digital economy. It's a pretty powerful idea.
Yeah, it's like they're turning wealth creation into a game. And if it can be done responsibly and sustainably, the implications for financial inclusion are huge.
Absolutely. But to get there, there's still a long road ahead. And we need to keep exploring both the benefits and the risks of this approach.
You've definitely given us a lot to think about. And in our final part, we're going to dive deeper into the future of GTPR. We'll look at their roadmap, the challenges they might face, and what it all means for you, the potential investor. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the world of GTPR. We talked about how it works, the good, the bad. And now it's time to look ahead. What does the future hold for GTPR? Are we on the verge of a whole new way of investing, or is this just a fad that's going to fade away?
Well, predicting the future of any cryptocurrency is never easy. But GTPR's roadmap does give us some hints. They've said they're planning to add staking options for GTPR holders, and that could be pretty significant.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't crypto experts, can you explain what staking is and how it could benefit people who hold GTPR?
Sure, staking is basically you lock up your tokens for a set period of time, and in return, you earn rewards. It's kind of like earning interest on your crypto. In the case of GTPR, those rewards could translate into additional benefits within the Goat Tapper ecosystem, maybe even exclusive access to certain features, or higher earning potential.
So you're not just holding on to the token, you're actively participating and potentially getting more out of it. That's cool. What else is on the horizon for GTPR?
They've also mentioned expanding beyond real estate into other asset classes. So there could be a lot of different options for investors down the road.
Wait, really? Like what kind of other assets?
Well, imagine being able to invest in tokenized art or rare collectibles or even renewable energy projects, all within the same platform.
That's pretty amazing. You'd be like a one-stop shop for alternative investments.
Yeah.
All powered by GTPR. But expansion on that scale. It's going to take some serious partnerships, right? Have they mentioned any collaborations?
Yeah, they've been pretty vocal about the importance of working with other companies and projects, especially property developers, other crypto projects, even DeFi platforms.
Okay, I get it. Partnerships are key. But can you give me a concrete example? Like, how would those partnerships actually work?
Sure. So imagine they partner with a property developer. That could give them access to a wider range of real estate assets to tokenize and offer to investors. Or they could collaborate with another crypto project and integrate GTPR into their ecosystem, which would expand its utility and reach. And DeFi partnerships could open up new lending and borrowing opportunities for GTPR holders.
So they're building a network, a whole ecosystem,
Okay.
with GTPR at the center of it all. But let's be real, not every crypto project is successful. What are some of the roadblocks that GTPR might face?
Well, competition is definitely a big factor. New projects are popping up all the time. GTPR will need to keep innovating to stay ahead of the game.
It's a fast-moving space. What other challenges do you see?
Scalability is another one if the platform gets really popular and a lot of people start using it. They'll need to make sure the technology can handle it. Network congestion and high transaction fees are common issues in the crypto world, and GTPR will need to find ways to avoid those problems.
Yeah, it's like building a house. You got to make sure the foundation is strong enough to support everything you build on top of it. Anything else?
Yeah, education is really important too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are still unfamiliar with tokenized real estate and gaming-based investing. GTPR will need to do a good job of explaining these concepts in a way that everyone can understand.
It all comes down to trust and transparency,
Right.
especially in a market that can feel a little bit risky. They need to show people this is the real deal. So we've covered a lot of ground today, the ins and outs of GTPR, their plans for the future, the challenges they might face. But now it's your turn. What do you think?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to each individual to decide what they make of all this. Is GTPR a game changer? Or is it just another flash in the pan? We've given you the information, now it's time to do your own research, ask questions, form your own opinions. The world of cryptocurrency is constantly changing, and the best decisions are informed decisions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into GTPR, the meme coin that wants to build homes. We hope you learned something new today and that you'll keep exploring the world of emerging technologies and investment opportunities. Until next time, happy investing. You want to